didn't mean to do a third run of Spy Swing. That was an accident. I quickly had run to the washroom because last second I needed to go to the washroom. And then I had tea that was brewing at the same time. I grabbed the tea and again, I dumped it all over myself. So my leg hurts. Hi. What do you mean still muted? Howdy, boss. Hello. You only said 2 Spy Swing. Look! Look! Okay, I had to do what I had to do. This seems to be a running pattern with me. Music loud, Midas quiet? There's no shot that I'm quiet. I'm like... Your brain has been washed too much. Hold on. Cranking it up just a little bit. Alright, what about now? Hi, this is Midas. Quietest at the moment. That just tells me I need to lower the volume of Spy Swing, because this is reasonably maximized. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, today I was supposed to actually do the 3D model for Midas, but it's broken. It's broken for some reason. So next week we will do the 3D model for Midas, because I wasn't lying when I said I was going to switch back and forth. Just we're being delayed from the switching back and forth by another week. No, for some reason none of the textures are loading in, and so when it loads in, it's all bright neon pink, and pink Midas isn't real. There's no such thing as a pink Midas. Now, a Sisyphus. There is a Sisyphus, and she's very pink. And we don't talk about the war. We don't talk about the war. Mm-mm. Speaking of war, Venezuela, everybody! Good job on that mission! Man! You see the look on his face when we yanked him out of bed feet first? That was crazy. The way his wife was nagging the whole time, though, on the plane ride back. Oh, no, it was incorrigible. I couldn't stand it. Man, it must be a special kind of hell to be captured after being a Venezuelan dictator, only to have your bitch wife nag you the whole time on the way back. You said it was safe. You said this would never happen. The U.S. would come. Can you imagine? Generational nagging. This is why I hate women. Bomi, I forgot to download my textures. No, Bomi ate my textures! The fact that he is currently housed in the same prison as, what's his name? Luigi Mangione and P. Diddy? What a crossover episode! I do not personally generate things with AI. I see so many AI-generated memes, though.
President. Comments on Sissy Race tier list.
The files are redacted! The files are redacted! This is not on the Epstein flight logs. I'm currently, I'm currently black sharpieing over top of her tier list as we speak. Actually, I didn't need to, because Reddit did it for me. But I'm black sharpieing over. I don't know what you're talking about. You planning to update the 3D model to match the 2.02 model, or are you going to keep it for old time's sake? I actually have 2 3D models now. One is the original, and one is style matched to the other 2D model. I don't currently have any plan.
How much do you regret unleashing your little sister?
Be honest, how much do you regret unleashing your little sister?
The next Suicide Squad's gonna be a banger.
Next suicide. I don't regret letting my sister come into my space. I mean, I don't agree with what she does. I don't agree with what she says because it's heinous. But I still love my sister, and I warned everybody just as much. Oh my god, the amount of people transvestigating her, though, is crazy! I cannot go on any forums to look at anything, because everybody's trying to figure out if she's secretly a guy, and that's so funny to me. It just tells me nobody watched the window breaking video with the crowbar. That's all that tells me. They're fake cells. They're fake fans. Anyway. Imagine anime HO14.
Imagine the anime Hoi 4 mods about Venezuela.
Oh yeah. My theory, I need to stop reading out the supers because apparently they're just TTSing.
It's my theory that the Venezuela president was captured because he wanted to avoid the cartel because reasons.
No, I can believe that. There's a few things, I don't know. Venezuelan oil is going to be an interesting, tricky subject in the coming years because from everything I've heard, it's relatively high quality. It's not perfect, but it's high enough quality that it competes with like Canadian export, and Canada does export a lot of oil, like a lot of oil, and it's not cheap. Specifically, like a lot from Alberta, right? With Venezuelan oil hitting the markets, we're going to have a lot of people, industrial people, losing their jobs in the next couple of years. And I'm hearing a lot of people panic. I'm hearing career oilers panic. Because it's like, fuck! Fuck the Venezuelans! Man, Venezuelans are going to become like the new Indians in Canada. It's crazy. It's high quality because they stole our rigs 25 years ago. Oh yeah. Gmod RP server's gonna go crazy. Yeah, no, it's, the Venezuela can produce the oil a lot cheaper and at a lot greater volume. So, I mean, the layperson, theoretically, this should mean that our oil is more affordable. Gas should be affordable. Now, will that happen in reality? I don't know. I think people like making money. I think our gas prices are going to remain pretty similar. There's no reason for a ghoulish economy to ever accommodate the people that live inside of it, right? But I do think a lot of people are going to be displaced very soon in oil-producing countries. Trudeau isn't our prime minister anymore. He was barely our prime minister when he was in office. Let's be entirely honest. He was too busy doing whatever the fuck he was doing. Not running a proper country. $1 gas by the end of the year. Okay, Agent Warlock. No. My buddy's in the US oil and they're very concerned. Yeah. Blackface Trudeau, no, that's just him, Venezuela oil cosplay.
Yandere ASMR. It was promised to us 3,000 years ago.
I'm surprised that the TTS actually pronounced yandere right. Well, mostly right. It was promised to you 3,000 years ago. I gotta figure out a way to do it so that my mother, who is watching, by the way, hello, mama, stop watching my stream. Go away. Just stop it. Go away. Anyway, my mother, who is watching my stream, I don't know if I could survive her watching that ASMR. So I have to come up with something strategic so that it seems like a boring idea to her. Ah! Because when I dropped the pre 3.0, because this is my 3.0, my 3.0 model, I had that the federal agent breaks into your house ASMR, right?
Hello, Mom does.
Don't you say hello to her. Don't you encourage her. And my family went into the family room and they blasted that shit on the family computer. They cranked up the speakers and it was like some sort of twisted humiliation ritual where I was hearing myself in the family living space. I'm just glad that ASMR wasn't like the yandere ASMR because I might have actually gone outside and found a way to blow my brains out with the crossbow. No! I wasn't kidding when I say that I'm like the most quote-unquote normal baseline person in my family. Anyway, earlier somebody asked if I'm upset or concerned or whatnot. And in general, I've had people behind the scenes ask me if I'm concerned about my sister.
You're
Oh,
naughty?
okay, fine. We'll
Hello
just
there,
move on
Mama.
then. I get
Waving
it.
hand emoji, smiley face emoji. So Monda's VTuber model when?
Actually, do you guys want to see the progress on my mother's VTuber model? Because I'm drawing and rigging it myself.
Hello Mondas, waving hand emoji. Hope you're having a nice evening/day.
It's crazy that you guys would rather talk about that. Alright.
Delta Force inking dictator ASMR.
Are you having a stroke? Yeah, I think I'll take a screenshot of the current bust. I haven't touched it in a couple of days. It's very funny, because I showed her the work in progress. She's very peculiar. She's like, okay, but that doesn't look like me. That doesn't look old enough. And I'm like, but...
I'm curious about Sissy condition, but I'm sure she's gonna do fine.
Yeah. Here is the current progress on my mother's model. Made to her specifications, to my chagrin. To be fair, I did say, hey, what would you like on your model? Give me a color, give me some design ideas. And she had ideas. I was happy that she had ideas because it made coming up with the design easier. But also it was like, damn, I didn't expect you to have ideas. But yeah, so there's no such thing as green Midas now, and there's no such thing as pink Midas. We've got my mother is green woman and my sister is pink woman. But yeah, she wanted to be a green detective. And she gave me like a bunch of examples like Miss Marple and Poirot. And she's like, I need the old lady glasses. And so I gave her old lady glasses. She's like, no, the other ones. I went through like 3 pairs. Then she finally said circle lens. And it's like, well, why didn't you say so? So I gave her the circle lens. She really didn't have any opinions about hair color or whatnot. She just wanted to be green. And she got irate at me when I didn't give her the old lady lines. I tried to like make her look...
Blue Midas will always live in our hearts.
What do you mean live in our hearts? Blue Midas is real. Didn't you know? Blue Midas is real. Hipster Hobbit. Blue Midas is real. Her name is Saddam. Anyway, so those lines under my mother's eyes. They weren't there initially, and those eye bags also weren't there. And I might still have to add more lines, because she was very insistent that she wanted to look old. And it's like, well, you could still look... You're an anime woman. You can look however you want. And she's like, yes, well, I want it to reflect properly. And it's like, man! I guess if that's your fantasy is to remain old, then okay. Who am I to say no? I love my mama. Now get off the phone and stop watching me. I'm not talking about you anymore. Guys, do you think that worked? Do you think she's gone now? Probably not. Detroit become old. That's some crazy work.
Hey Midas, haven't seen you since last year.
Oh my god, Jeffrey Epstein! It's been an age! I've missed your sweet dulcet tones. Last I saw you was on the island. How are your masseuses?
She's gonna be an amazing VTuber, dedicated to her kafyabi that much.
Well, that was a fuck up of kayfabe. No. Like, I don't know. I think if anybody in my family wanted to be a VTuber, they would be an incredible VTuber. I've got 5 siblings, I got 2 parents, I've got aunties, uncles, cousins, but like, my siblings all have like such strong personalities, like personally, like they're all very distinct and different, but they're all very sturdy and they all love to talk. So I think they would do well if they so applied themselves. So that's kind of why I set up Sissy in the first place, was because I knew she'd be really good at it. Now, unfortunately, I also knew that she had a very strong personality that would get everybody in trouble. That said, I think it's an opportunity for growth. I think it's an outlet for creativity. That Reddit video she did had me cackling.
We need more proper-looking old lady in mainstream.
You know what, Tommy? That's fair. That's fair. More proper-looking old lady in mainstream is also good. Hey, Midas. Hey, background noise. Do you have a devout husband that takes you to Olive Garden? Would you like one? Hey, Moxie. The answer is no, and I don't know what Olive Garden is because I'm Canadian. Yeah, no. It's interesting. Because Sissy was invited into my community Discord. Big mistake, by the way. Big mistake off the bat. Not because I hate her, but because I knew what was coming. And it came, and she ended up being timed out like a billion times, and then eventually she got banned. And she got deleted from my own community Discord. It's just like, well, Midas, you're the sister. You should, like, just let her back in. I gave her plenty of chances. I gave her plenty of smacks in real life. She made her decision. I have my dignity to uphold, and I have lessons to teach as an older sister. And then I heard that she started her own community Discord. Man! The nightmares from that place, I've heard. And then I saw her getting into pissing matches with Elfin on Twitter, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm not gonna lie. I have been very entertained. I have been so entertained. I have never been more entertained. Like, you know that meme, sickened but curious? That's been me through this whole endeavor. Like, I don't know, man. What if we give her one more chance? No, she was torturing my mods. And you know what? As fun as it is to bully people, you have to put a hard limit on it or they kill themselves, okay? You bully people to build character, but you don't bully people enough that they kill themselves. Then you are legally held responsible for the damage done, okay? So she hit the threshold where she might have killed one of my mods. So we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't think she deserves another chance. Midas is still meaner to us than Sissy was. It's about the optics. I get to be meaner to you because I'm strategic with my language. I don't get caught by filters. I know what I'm about. Where she just goes like the low-hanging fruit. She drops the funny gamer words, and it's like, okay. Okay, you know that, like, you can't get away with that. That's lazy. I don't know. Again, she needs to mature. She needs experience. And I think VTubing is an excellent experience for her. If you were here for, like, the Christmas streams and the New Year streams, you probably saw me, like, coaching, like, hey, you should talk to chat, you should do this, you should that. I think it's really exciting for somebody I care about an awful lot to get into my hobby. Well, I guess it's not really my hobby anymore. It's a hobby for her, though. I don't know. VTubing has done so much for my life. Like, it has really kind of turned me into a whole new person. I was like this clustered little ball of malice, hatred, and self-destruction. And I was leaning on some very bad self-destructive tendencies at the beginning of this 10 years Midas. But I genuinely do think that this has helped me. And I think it can help a lot of people. And I think it can help my sister. Now, will it make her a different person from the ground? No, she's always going to be who she is, right? And I can't stop that. But I think this can make her a happier version of herself.
The Brady Bunch. But tubers, and ever so slightly unhinged.
We like the malice, not the self-destruction. Well, now the malice is more, like, aimed and targeted and specific. I'll say something a little cheeky, okay? A little secret between me and all 400 of you between two platforms. Or 500 of you between two platforms, okay? It's just between the 500 of us, okay? Shh. That I Know I'm a Wolf song was targeted.
My conspiracy theory, Sisyphus is actually just the homunculus Midas poured her intrusive thoughts into.
I'm not confirming nor denying that theory, but that's really funny. may I say, if my tracking seems different, if you don't see my eyes going as tiny as they usually do, that's because VTube Studio and I like all of my tracking stuff, it has gone to shit. Apparently across the board, there was an update for VBridger that just shattered, and almost nobody has gotten it working yet. I mean, some people have got it working, but I haven't figured it out. So if my tracking
seem rather brighter than before. Who are you?
Who are you? I'm glowing! Also, hi, Yu! Gonna go lurk? Have a good one! Good thing about Sisyphus is that she has someone who can slap her back into reality when she gets too close to the sun. You see, I'm not here to censor her. Like, if I was here to censor her, I would have deleted her videos. Well, I couldn't have deleted the videos, but I would have forced her to delete the videos with my fist, myself, right? I'm not here to censor her. She needs to have a space to express whatever she wants, no matter how much I disagree with what she's doing, right? Ultimately, whatever she does doesn't matter to me. It doesn't implicate me. It doesn't make me guilty of anything because I'm not endorsing the bad behavior. No. It'll give her a space to self-reflect, and if she asks for advice, I'll give it quite genuinely. And if she makes a really bad, mistake and she asks me for help, I'm going to give my 2 cents. And if she has a really heinous woman moment, or she doxes herself, or she does something like that, then I'll help her out, okay? That is my duty. That is my duty as somebody that's brought her into the space. I will just hope that over time she, naturalizes and, feels less intense, but enjoys herself. Still makes funny based videos, but happier, What happened to Ayumi post-graduation? Well, she's doing a lot of good stuff right now. She sent me a gift in the mail for Christmas. It was wonderful. It was very sweet of her. She sent me her home baking. I opened the box actually just earlier, and it had home baking, and it had had a Miku in it. I adore Ayumi to the sun and back. She is an absolute beam of light, and I miss her a lot in the VTubing space over here. I miss being able to interact with her, being able to talk to her over here. I mean, I get to talk to her IRL and personally like that, but she was really good at what she did as Ayumi, and I hope one day I can have her on camera with me again. I think about that quite a lot, honestly. I miss her.
Next round of Timbits are on me, so glad you're back.
Timbits! Oh, sour cream glazed. Those are the best. Alright, Tim Hortons sucks ass, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it sucks. As a resident Canadian, oh, that's blasphemy! No, any Canadian that's a real Canadian worth their salt and not trying to, be a Canadian LARPer will tell you that Tim Hortons is ass. And Tim Hortons has been ass for 10 years. At least 10 years. Even longer, even. It's been bad ever since it was bought out by the same company that owns Burger King. And when they swapped over their coffee supplier to Burger King's and McDonald's bought out Tim Hortons' previous coffee supplier, everything changed, okay? Tim Hortons went from everything being fresh to everything being frozen and heated up in glorified microwaves. And the coffee is shit! The workers are shipped in by a metric dozen, the ton at a time. They're compacted families from third world countries. They own one store and they put all of their employees in as family members. And sanitation is at a record low for any and all Tim Hortons. I could go on. I don't eat at Tim Hortons. I don't drink Tim Hortons.
Listen to the final experiment by N per your recommendation. I highly suggest listening to Murder of the Universe by KGLW and Hawaii Part 2 by Miracle Music.
I love Hawaii Part 2! Oh my god, that album is so good. Yeah. Yes, the coffee sucks. The donuts suck. The workers are so rude and get the orders wrong. Yeah. Burger King is ass. Oh, yeah. Why is your mouth yellow? Well, what do you mean, why is my mouth yellow? I'm Midas. I'm yellow. That's kind of how this whole thing works. Look at me. Look at me. It would be highly inappropriate for me to be literally any other color, okay? I gotta be yellow. Aha! You can't just ask why people are yellow. I'll tell you a little secret. It's because I didn't brush my teeth. I drank too many energy drinks and then all my teeth fell out. And then you guys felt very sorry for me and you helped pay for my dental work. And now I have teeth again, but my mouth is permanently yellow. I talked to someone from up in Canada and they say Indian immigration is crazy up there. Oh, it is absurd. I will say, when I was in university, I saw like the odd Indian immigrant here and there, and they were a highly respected class of immigrant.
So Hortons gets its supply from Cisco now? Yuck.
Yeah, Tim Hortons gets everything from Cisco. Everything, yeah, no, it's gross. Basically any Canadian you met on the street, even like the hardcore racist ones, they'd be like, yeah, okay, the Sikhs are interesting, the Muslims are interesting, the Indians are, I don't care, they're whatever, right? Live and let live. And hell, I had a friend in university who was an Indian who lived in Kenya, a high caste Indian. And she treated me so well. She helped me actually escape a stalker in first year. It's a funny story.
Went back home for Christmas, went to the Tim's I used to meet old friends. It had been completely remodeled, way more corporate and all Indian staff, in my relatively small town on an island.
Yeah, no, Tim's is long become garbage.
Didn't know you had an older sister named Momdas, smiling face with hearts emoji, rose emoji.
An older sister named Momdis? I do have an older sister, actually. I do have an older sister. You guys never get to meet her, though. Very genuinely. Sistis, I always was like, maybe one day, probably not. You do not get to meet my older sister. No. You might get to meet my older brothers. Or my younger brother. But never my older sister. Why, Midas, you hate your... No, I don't hate my older sister. She's just very bad at security. Okay? She would dox everyone and everything in an instant. You think I give out a lot of information? I give out information that I know you can't use to pinpoint me.
It changed ever since they got rid of Apu.
Llama. Sharky raid. Oh, we got a raider? Hold on. Let me check. Shit, I almost closed my stream. Yeah, no, I love my older sister, but I would never be able to introduce you guys without actually, without her doxing everybody in my life. Hold on, I gotta find who just raided! Sharky Yuna! Welcome on in! I missed a raid or two last stream, and I feel so bad because when I opened up my setup this time, I saw it, so I sent DMs to some of the people that raided, saying, hey, thanks for the raid a week ago! Yeah. No, again, yeah, doxed us. Cognito Hazard Sister, yeah. Someone raided? Yes, on the Twitch side of things. Yeah. Midas Nichan is the security equivalent of what regular Midas is to keep your computer and software working. I see. Thanks, on delay. Raider, I barely even know her! Ah! Yeah. I was talking about this before. No. Are the older they are, the more based they are? No. She's not more based. My older sister is very lovely. Now, I read in some places that people are worried I talk about too many things.
BTW, have you ever read the manga Messiah? You seem the type to have read that as a kid. I swear it's a real book.
You actually sent that as a message earlier, and I meant to respond, but never got around to it because I got busy with stuff. But yes, I don't think it's the manga Messiah, but I do have like a manga Bible. I do have one of those. I'd like to rate her if you know what I mean. Yeah. Good night, y'all. Good night, unique name here. I was talking about India before everything went sideways. But yeah, through university, I had nothing but a wonderful view of India and Indians because all I saw were kind of the very beginnings, right? Because Canada hadn't started its new policy change yet. Post-COVID, quite genuinely post-COVID exclusively, they started accepting them by the millions. Like an absurd amount, an amount that our infrastructure cannot handle, cannot maintain. We couldn't maintain that for just a mixture of people, let alone from a very specific country. Did you know that they run programs in India literally saying, come to Canada for free healthcare? They have propaganda in India encouraging Indian citizens to immigrate en masse to Canada. And it's become like an entirely unrecognizable country. This is an objective thing. This isn't me going, oh, it's just I've seen like 3 or 4 more Indians. My life is over because I hate people with a different skin color and culture. No. Hell, like, I celebrated Diwali with that one university friend. Like, she couldn't, like, see her family for it, and, like, she felt very alone, and so I snuck to her dorm, and wrapped her up a present in a bunch of, like, string lights that I got from the dollar store, and I, like, turned them on, and I snuck over, and I'm like, hey, I looked online, I don't know much about it, but I know that you don't want to be alone, so let's do some stuff. I know that you like really shitty Netflix rom-coms. Here's some lights, because it's the light festival. Let's have a good time. And so that night, I slept over at her dorm, and we had a Diwali, and she showed me, like, her sand sculpture stuff, and explained some of her family. It was really sweet, right? Like, I don't hate Indians by nature. Yes? People who have worked very hard and immigrated here with a clear purpose, and not because of a mass migration hysteria and trend, have done nothing but contribute wonderfully to society. Hell, even my driving instructor, like, it's night and day. He said, hey, they were, like, the difference between the immigration in the last, like, small handful of years is staggering since over his lifetime. India telling people to go to Canada to get free healthcare as well. Wouldn't they just be giving euthanasia? You'd think that, wouldn't you? You'd think that, wouldn't you? I know you purely from your touch-tone telephone cover, so hello! Hello, Taylor! I'm so sorry that that's how you know me and this is your first time listening to me live. Why does my OBS bitrate say 8,000, but my Restream bitrate say 10,000? And I just lost my entire chat. Okay. Anyway. I think the issue is that there was a culture of assimilation that used to exist. Like, there was an expectation of respect that used to exist in a Canadian society. It wasn't great, but you were expected to, like, if you show up, to, at the very least, respect local customs on top of participating in your own. Now, the initial idea has gone far out the window, and it's not about respecting where you go, it's about enforcing where you came from. And it's like, if you want the benefits of a Canadian society and the Canadian land, you can't have it both ways. But somehow, through Trudeau policy enforcement, it has become that. They get to have it both ways. And so the people that have existed here their whole lives are now suffering severely. Like, the mass glut of people in the last short amount of years, jobs are gone. I'm a VTuber because Indians and just en masse came into Canada. Like, just straight up, like, I wouldn't be a VTuber if COVID hadn't happened. Well, I mean, I could still probably be a VTuber because I started before COVID, but, like, I wouldn't be a career VTuber if both COVID and mass immigration hadn't happened, you know? Like, the course of my life is vastly different. Me and Sisyphus exist because of the Indians! You can thank those telemarketers for my existence, baby! Yeah, I'm getting a little too into it. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I don't know. It's interesting, because this Indian I met in university, let's call her Shri. Okay, I'm gonna call her Shri, because I'm not gonna use her full name. And not even her real name, I'm just calling her Shri. Now, interesting thing that Shri told me is that the Indians in Kenya don't view Indians in India as real Indians, which is, like, confusing to me. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you're in Kenya. Shouldn't you be considered a Kenyan? No, I'm a high caste Indian that lives in Kenya. All the Indians that are still in India are false Indians. They are lower class, low caste non-Indians. Thank you for redeeming. I will redeem! Ah. And it's just like, so what does that make you? And she's like, oh, I am one of the few true pure blood Indians that exist. And I'm like, holy shit, Indian on Indian racism, that's crazy. I know better now. I know better now. It's not crazy anymore. They really hate each other. They hate each other more than the people they've forced themselves upon hate them, you know? I have never seen an Indian hate in more than hating other Indians. Yeah. No, it's... Oh my god. I remember the first time I ever got really angry at her, at Shri, was we were at a restaurant, because at university, there was a restaurant nearby, so we went there together on a girls' night out. I was gonna say on a date, but it wasn't really a date, because it was just a girls' night out. You know what? Fuck. I'll call it a spaghetti date. Why not? We were on a spaghetti date as homies. And she was asking me what it was like, you know, in Canada. What were the servants like in Canada? And I'm like, Shri, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, no, your servants. What were your servants like growing up? And I'm like, Shri, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, don't you have servants? Everyone has servants. What are you talking about? What was your nanny like? What do you mean, nanny? What do you mean? Well, if you don't have a nanny and servants, who did, like, all the food and the cleaning and the cooking? My mother did! What kind of rich ass... Oh, I'm not rich. I'm not rich. I'm considered lower middle class in Kenya. Yeah, fuck no, you're not. Fuck no. Show me a picture of, yeah, she shows me this fucking mansion with this massive, like, cement gate with, like, metal, like, spikes coming out of it. And she's got, like, a posted bodyguard. She's like, yeah, this is where I live. It's very humble. And da-da-da. And I'm like, Shri, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I'm like, okay, well, if you had servants and all that for all the day-to-day necessities, I'm curious what your mother did. Does she have, like, a place she works at? Oh, no. She just stays at home all day. Well, if she stays at home, what does she do all day? Oh, she pursues her hobbies. And I'm like... So why are you in Canada and not in Kenya? Oh my god. She was pissing me off, and she had no idea why. It's just like, so your mother doesn't cook, clean, nothing. Oh, she cooks! Oh, really? Why? Yeah, she cooks once a week because it's her hobby. She loves doing it. It's her passion. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking... That was my first taste of Indian hatred. Yeah. What's your go-to Subway order? I like to load up on cold cut combo with extra pepperoni and bacon and I just like a lot of meat. Speaking of, guys, I found out that you can put beef jerky on throne and beef tallow. There's a huge tub of beef tallow I found. I was able to put it on my throne. I haven't stopped laughing since. My throne just looks so deranged right now because it's just fucking beef jerky and tallow. It came in time to hear beef tallow. Alright. I need to check my stats because I'm hearing a lot of dinging and I feel like I'm missing out on something. Restream is lovely, but I don't get proper notifications because of it. Pixel Rat, thank you for the 10 gifted members. Alright, is there anything here that... Kinshin asks, you do seem rather brighter than before. Who are you? I'm a skinwalker. Yeah, no, okay. I think I'm caught up there. You know what? I give up. I'm just gonna go back to chat.
Yes, nothing beats rich delusional kids who have no idea how the rest of the world function. Smiley face emoji, melting face emoji.
Why is there a horse head on your throne? Because during Sissy's debut, she said she wanted 5 ponies, and then a bunch of people recommended horses to my throne. So I accepted one. I accepted one, and it was the cheapest one. So if you buy that, it'll go to her. Though, she has her own now, so I guess I can remove it. She has her fucking alligator skull on her throne. Don't buy her that, because then I have to store it.
For you, would you use it?
Zodi, that is an interesting question. It depends. But I wouldn't mind if you made a background. If it doesn't break TOS, I'd love to feature it. If it doesn't break TOS and get me nuked off the face of the planet, I would be very honored to give it a shot. If you're not in the Duder Den, join the Duder Den. And you could put it there, and I'll see it. Hi, Midas. Greetings from Northern Washington State, USA. Love that I can catch you without too many time zones. Yeah. Hello, Raiders. More Raiders! FBI, open up. Ah! Oh, wait, I'm FBI. Beryl! Hi! Hi, Beryl! Welcome on in! So, guys, Beryl is a very cute toy. Very cute toy. And I think everybody should say hello to Beryl. Hi, Beryl! Those on YouTube side, I just got a raid on Twitch. Why did I just get a notification from Throne? Oh god, what did you guys do? Pepperoni! Pepperoni! I'm gonna be eaten good! Ah! Sorry, I'm just out of practice. I'm sorry, guys. Did I hurt your ears? I don't know what to put in this chat. That's okay. Put in whatever you want. I didn't think my ears. I'm sorry. I'll turn down my gain a little bit. I'm sorry. This is... Am I missing something? Oh, Crunchulous, somebody bought a pepperoni for me off my throne. Louder, please. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Glad I could stop by. Like hearing you yap. It's fascinating. Well, thank you. I'm glad that I was fascinating. Earlier, someone asked if I was going to get a 3D to match this model. It is a plan, but it is not a current progress thing. Some things need to happen for that to work. But I do have an updated 3D model. I have 2 3D models for Midas. 3 if you count the Vroid. I've got my original, which is the one that most people know me by. And I've got the one that matches my previous live 2D model. It's style matched, and it matches the rest of the Syndicate. That one is my concert model, and it will be the VR chat model. I plan to list it so that it can be used, and it's actually, you can mod it into games right now. There are perms to mod the Syndicate into games with a high quality 3D. Yeah. But as for the Kama model, if it happens, it'll be a surprise for you. I see. If you remember your question when you first saw my name, I was a millennial. I am one of the last ones born in the generation. I have no idea what you just said. I'm Luna. Hi, Luna! Welcome on in! We got Resident Pixie. Yeah, that was entirely Pixie. Like, Pixie was just like, hey guys, can I mod us into Resident Evil? And I'm like, what? What's Resident Evil? And she said, you know what Resident Evil is? And I went, yeah, you're right, I know what Resident Evil is. I'm sorry, I need some water. Midas, no, think of 34. They'll do it. I'm gonna be so real. I do not care if people make pornography of my design. Straight up, I don't care. I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna retweet it. It's not for me, right? If somebody is so sexually charged by whatever this is that they feel the need to commission high-quality pornography of it, I'm flattered.
How close are you to getting started on the concert?
We have been slowly working on it. We have the set list. We have, Bomi is working on the stage. We have all the 3D models ready to go. And we all have our tracking solutions now. I know that Pixie just got her trackers. I've got my suit, and Bomi's got her suit. Putting together a 3D concert as 3 indies is a lot harder than I anticipated. I'm gonna be so honest. I thought, oh, we just need the technology and wham bam, we're good to go. This is a longer timeline than I could have anticipated. But we actually have all the tools now. So, like, we're just chewing through it. I don't know. Maybe I'll bash our heads together and we'll put together a nice progress report for you guys. So when do we get the Midas Family Phase Connect Gen? Look, I know it's a funny joke, and I know it's been a joke for as long as I've been around. But I've said it before, and I will say it again.
Is Momdus debuting on April Fools?
No, Momdus will show up at the end of January.
Speaking of Pixie, Sisyphus/Pixie collab when?
Pixie and Sisyphus, it's interesting that you say that. I've been in talks with both of them, and both of them have expressed interest in collaborating with each other, but there are a few, logistical issues. So it may or may not happen, but that is not a question to ask me. That is a question to ask them. Do not get it twisted. Sisyphus is not part of the Syndicate. To be part of the Syndicate, you have to have the matching assets. That is, first and foremost, the requirement. No, Sisyphus just happens to be my sister. Unfortunately. Chat, remind me, is the Syndicate a private group? The Syndicate is 4 VTubers. Me, Bomi, Pixie, and LMG. We all have matching assets, and we collab once in a while. We got cohesive branding. It's kind of just like a unit, you know? It's an indie unit. So, Nepo Baby, God, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill. Stop it! She does not get Syndicate privileges, as evidenced by me nuking her out of my server. She doesn't get her private chat. She doesn't get Syndicate-wide endorsement. She gets shut down. She gets punished when she needs to. She's just another community member. She just happens to have to collab with me once in a while. LMG to be their Midas mod? No. No, LMG does do some moderation for me, and he helps out in a lot of things, but he is not classified as the mod. LMG is as much a member of the Syndicate as the rest of any of the rest of us, you know? He makes content, he streams, he's got the model, he's doing his best. Wait, is she not in the server? She got killed earlier this morning for dropping 3 N-words. Pixie multitasking. Pixie, what are you doing? Pixie, where are you? Bro, did you blurt out my 3D secret? What 3D secret? Everybody knows that me, you, and Bomi have 3D models. They saw the mod, the Resident Evil mod. What 3D secret? Huh? I think you're having your chain jelked here. When's the 4D secret? I've had enough of you bozos. What did you just call me? Mods, kill this woman. Guys, saying the N-word is bad. Look. I don't want my server to get nuked by the Soy Jack party or whatever the fuck, okay? I don't care about policing people. That is not my job, and that's not something I enjoy. It's more about the health of the community and not getting bot raided and not getting destroyed, right? There has to be a certain level of cleanliness. I don't care what people do in their own servers. I just know that as the content creator, I have to technically have a certain level of responsibility just so that, you know, there's no issues. It's nothing personnel, kid. Where is Sisyphus? She's at school right now. What's your favorite waffle type? A blue waffle. You should Google it. Google blue waffle. Do it. Keck. Oh, I can see everybody freaking out. Classic. You fell for the oldest trick in the book. So wait, I can talk about Jesus and weightlifting? Oh yeah, 100%. Again, there's no off-limit topic, so to speak. But there's a threshold for respectability, and you have to, there's, levels of slurage allowed, right? I call myself a faggot all the time, right? Because that is my slur to claim. If somebody who is very obviously, spoken about being a black person drops a hard N-word in the chat, that isn't something that we should really police. But if we have somebody that is known to be, let's say, a 23-year-old little white girl running her mouth trying to get a reaction, and she's spamming every slur under the sun, Sisyphus, you get nuked because you're trying to incite people. And it's really hard to keep a server from exploding when everybody is yelling at each other. It's just not practical. It's not fun to moderate, but, it's just not practical. I'm about practicality. No. There are servers that are very fun and open and fancy free. And hell, I'm not participating in them, but I'm absolutely observing in some of them. And those are some of the most liberating places on the planet. But as the content creator, it is my responsibility to not create a place that can cause issues for both the people in the server and the people in the wider community. No. You create your own fault. I mean, not fault. Fun. You create your own fun. Actually, I know that there's, at least 3 servers that are offshoots of my servers with, all the same members in them and whatnot, but they've got, no restrictions. And I think that's actually genuinely very awesome, because that absolves me of responsibility. I'm not allowed in those servers, unfortunately, because I think they fear me being a Janny, which is whatever. I wouldn't Janny someone else's server. That's ridiculous and obscene. But I can respect that they want the privacy. Don't turn yourself to a product with a brand name. Might is keeping you. Don't lobotomize yourself for the sake of a public image. No, the server's been run this way from the beginning. Because I'm not lobotomizing I don't need to lobotomize myself. I got my head cracked in on Canada Day. Anyway, no, I don't need to lobotomize myself. I've always been pragmatic. People can still be edgy. People can still be edgy, right? They just gotta be edgy mature. Because that makes it less difficult for me. The very first version of the Duder Den, which is the Discord server that currently exists, it was lawless. It had no moderation, and it very quickly dissolved into something where there was no conversations. There was no organization, and it was unusable. Genuinely. Like, it had the unabashed free-for-all nature, but because of the sheer volume of people, nobody was having fun. There was just like 50 people that were dedicated to spamming the same 5 funny words over and over again, which is like, it's a funny bit, and they will get tired eventually, but the only thing that served to do was to get the server nuked by Discord, right? Like, it's gone. Not because I wanted it to be. So I'm being more careful with this one because I want it to survive, and I'm also encouraging people to express themselves the best way they can and also have their own servers that I cannot claim any responsibility for. You know, have a fun private server. I do not care. But if I'm being stuck with the responsibility and the punishment, I'm going to be strategic. Because that's my job. Hard balance. Needs to be mentally unstable to be a VTuber, and not so unstable that Discord Thanos snaps you. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, Koss, like, I am not jealous of Sisyphus. I'm not jealous of what she makes. I'm not jealous of her audience. I'm not jealous that she's growing. I saw very similar growth for very different reasons, granted. I am jealous of kind of her carefree nature. And that is the only thing, like, that thing is the, I would never say the things that she says, but she feels no fear, you know? I've lived my whole life feeling fear for all kinds of things, but she doesn't feel fear of consequence. She's a very different beast to me. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think that being able to show my audience somebody that is so unabashed and excited to be as obscene as they want is a wonderful thing. Now, will this cause me problems? Probably. Probably. Devil may care. Yeah! You're a woman, boss. You're always low-key jealous. Hey, her being happy.
The simple difference
all
between clever and reckless. Forethought, open book emoji.
Sisyphus is raw, Midas is refined. Sisyphus is the benefit of coming into the scene at the turning of the tide. It's not quite as dangerous as it used to be. I enjoy the way she talks, even though I probably shouldn't. Well, I think the reason she resonates with so many people is because she's not leaning into okay, some people straight up think that she's grifting. Because how could she not be grifting, right? But I think the reason she's resonating with so many so quickly is because, unlike other people who behave the way she does, she doesn't lean into sexuality, because I love my sister. But she's very like me in how we both hate whores! People who are sexually depraved pieces of trash! That said, I've warmed up to a couple choice whores in my time. I can tolerate them. I have a few that I find quite near and dear to my heart. Her, on the other hand, she'll nuke one to the sun. She'll send them into orbit. She will kill them physically. No. So. Why do you hate horse? The VLR girls are alright. Am I one of those choice whores? Auntie Haunty, you are the sweetest ghost I've seen. Is that Pixie or I like how the chat is now filling up with names of whores. I have learned to look beyond the big buxom boobs and the fansleys. I choose my whores based on the content of what's behind their rib cage. Midas the hoe tolerator? Ah! Hey Midas, I'm glad I didn't catch a stream live for once. Hey Vinny Shitward, welcome on in. Sissy was quite keen to zoom in on the chest art that you showcased her. Such a surprising amount of jiggle in that compact. So the reason why the physics were so weird in the first stream with Sissy, and why she thought it was really funny to piss me off with that, was because we literally were streaming from the same Wi-Fi. Like the same internet, same everything. And so my phone and her phone were both somehow connected to the same instance of VTube Studio. If you look back through that VOD, take note, every time my model moves, her model will also move in the same direction at the same time, but then it'll jitter to another side when her tracking kicks in. So constantly, we're always looking the same way, and we're always making the same base motion, and sometimes our mouths are moving the same. And that's because I was accidentally controlling her. And after I got onto the PC that I set her up with, I was able to fix it, but it was stupid. So her laughing at the boob physics was less, hee hee guys, look at my boobs, and more it was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. That's why she was tweaking, yeah. I mean, she probably would have found a way to artificially do that herself anyway, but you know. What do you mean you're not jealous of her audience? Because, like, it's the same audience as here. They just react differently. Right? Like, and the new people that she has that I don't have, I mean, she's attracted them very specifically. They're tailored to her. They probably wouldn't enjoy my stuff. Why would I be jealous of people that don't want me around? Right? Like, no. Me and her do not target the same audience. We have crossover, but I'm happy to see her find something that makes her distracted. You know? And I'm happy that she, even though it's a little scary, her like-minded individuals, I'm happy to see that she has like-minded individuals that she can relate to. Life is very isolated in the mountains. It's very hard to relate to anybody. And we have our differences, but my little sister is quite genuinely my best friend. I love her to the moon and back. You know, growing up, we weren't allowed to have gaming consoles. There was like an original Xbox for a little while, because my older brother had it, but after it broke, we never got another one. I introduced gaming back into the house, because my little sister really wanted to play Pokemon. Sisyphus really wanted to play Pokemon on a real console, but we weren't allowed to have them. So, one day, when there was a rare trip to the city, I snuck along all my pocket change. It wasn't a lot. I had savings, but it was specifically for my first year at university and a couple of years after that, but I snuck what little I was able to, relatively spend, and I got her a new DS XL, whatever the newest DS was at the time. And I felt so scary and devious having it snuck in my bag on the drive back with my mother in the driver's seat talking about, you know, financial responsibility. And I'm there feeling the weight of the devil on my shoulders because I just did a terrible thing. But I had like the newest Pokemon game and I had a new console for her. And she'd never owned one. None of us have ever, like, except, well, my older brother for a tiny period of time. So I got home. I went up to her. And I said, look, I got you this. It's not your birthday. It's not anything. But I got this for you. We need to figure out a way to make this work. You have a figure skating competition? Okay, I'll give this to you even if you fail your figure skating competition. We'll wait till then. Now, the reason I picked that was because that is when the return date on the receipt expired. So after the return date on the receipt expired, I gave it to her. My mother was furious. Oh, she was piss-hopping mad. How dare you give her video games? We're returning this right away. The packaging is still good. And then she looked at the receipt and she was even madder because she couldn't return it. I let the devil into our house via Pokemon. Yeah, and then after that, we kind of, you know, had more games in our house after that. It was pretty good. And then she, like, learned to mod her DS, and... My little sister is edgy. I won't, like, you know... I won't deny that. But my baby sister is the most wonderful creature in the world. So, if I see people looking at her, thinking that she's the bee's knees, even for the worst takes imaginable... Do you know how happy that makes me? It makes me unimaginably happy. Like, I'm annoying about it. I'm so sorry to all my friends, all one or two of them, that I talk to these days. Because all I seem to talk about is my sister.
Cheers to past Midas, was already a great person looks like.
And you know what? It's my responsibility as her older sister to just keep trying, you know? Your sister's funny. That's how I discovered this channel. Damn! We got a reverse thing. I have to start following her streams. Hey, Koss. Gave her the devil's Pokemon. Hey, Midas, do you like the cartoon? Do you like cartoon when your body temp is 38 degrees? What the fuck does that even mean? Wait, why weren't you allowed to play games? Because it would interrupt our studies. And it would make us stupid. You know... I'm gonna say the word retard. I'm going to say it.
Is this the same sister that taxidermies squirrels?
Yes, this is the same sister that taxidermies everything. I'm gonna say retard. I'm allowed to say it. I had my skull cracked. They scanned my brain and they found out that half of it was smaller than a normal person's. I've earned it! Okay. You already did? Yeah, well, you know what? I don't need to be afraid of it because it's my word! I'm allowed to say it! As long as I'm only calling myself retard. It doesn't make sense to call other people one. But I can call myself one. Anyway, I'm retarded. And, basically... the fear was that video games would make people, you know, just stupid. It would atrophy our critical thinking skills. Do you have tard strength? You'd be surprised. I talked about how I beat up a cripple in elementary school, right? Wait, so your sister was allowed to do taxidermy, but not allowed to play video games. Your mother sounds like an interesting person. Taxidermy requires a lot of creativity, a lot of time, effort, and, you know, passion, you know? And at the end, you get a product that you can sell on the market. You get a fur, you get a skin.
Bad takes people laugh at a court jester.
Anyway. Don't think you mentioned he was crippled, though. I went to school in the short bus, I give you the pass. I had childhood counseling. I think that in itself should actually qualify me. No, you talked about beating a guy with a frozen water bottle. Oh, in elementary school, I beat the shit out of a cripple. He couldn't walk. He couldn't talk. Couldn't do anything. This was before I beat him up, by the way. I was a very psychotic child. I was a very bad kid. I've said this story on stream before, okay? And it's not a proud moment, but it is a good moment to, you know, reflect back upon. Yeah, you're mad because you kept smiling. I remember that way. Yeah. This is a kid with a severe speech impediment, and his facial muscles were frozen, and he kept smiling, and he kept making loud Donald Trump-esque noises. You know, the ones where he's on stage and he's making fun of crippled people? He was actually making those noises. And I was like 7 or something. I don't even remember how young I was. I'm gonna be entirely honest. And I kicked out, like, his walker or his crutch or his cane or whatever from him. He fell on the ground, and he kept smiling. He kept making the same noise. It didn't register to me that that wasn't on purpose. But as an older person, as an adult, as somebody who has worked with kids, well, worked with nieces and nephews, so I guess, yeah, worked with kids, I don't know, like, it kind of twists my gut, right? I look back at that, and I don't see, haha, funny memory. I look back at that, and I go, wow, that's a horror story, you know? I look back at that, and I go, fuck. I grew out of that kind of behavior by, like, 13, 14, and I was just the weird, quiet anime kid, and then I grew really fat, right? I grew really fat, and I wasn't strong anymore, but it's good to remember and to think about the bad things you do. Even if you don't, like, feel like you should be held responsible because you were young or you hadn't developed your whatever, you still did it, right? And it's still you. And that person will potentially forever remember what you did, you know? It's important to reflect upon that. So that you never feel yourself succumb to those urges again. So you never allow other people to do the same.
Average Midas story. Either really wholesome, family, or really bizarre.
Thought you said BPT makes you unstable, so you need to avoid family and people. BPT makes me unstable, so I avoid people. I avoid friendships, and I avoid increasing family size. So basically, I avoid dating, I avoid relationships, I avoid trying to make friends, and if I make friends, I try not to let them, you know, grow into really strong friendships. Right? Because the potential for damage is so massive that it is the most irresponsible thing in the world to try and foster those relationships. Would I like to have really, really, really strong friendships that I don't sabotage on purpose? Yeah, I think that would be the most lovely thing in the world. But I think keeping friends at arm's length is the healthiest thing for me. Because then I don't expose them to the ugliest sides of myself. Even then, it's difficult, you know? Because friendships are things that kind of form naturally with exposure to people. And I found myself more recently in the last year, very specifically, forming really tight friendships with people. And I never thought I would do that. And it's very scary. I don't want to sabotage them. Right? Because it's to the point where it's like, well, if I hurt people, then I've left a lasting impression, right? In a very bad way. Whereas if you hurt somebody and you don't really know them, they forget, right? But if you hurt someone and they really cared...
Things I did before I knew better, VTuber edition.
Yeah, pretty much, Gideon. There's a saying. There's a saying that sticks with me in these, moments of introspection. Betrayal never comes from the enemy. Betrayal only can come from someone you trust. And I don't trust people because I both fear being betrayed and causing anguish to somebody that I care about. So that's why somebody like my sister is very important to me. That's why all my siblings, my mother, my father, they're all very important to me. Because no matter what I do, what I've done, and who I become, they're stuck with me because we can't survive this shithole without each other. So I've learned a lot bouncing off of them. That's why I consider her my best, friend, even if she probably doesn't. Wouldn't it be better to properly warn the people at first instead of avoiding those relationships? Diego, you would think so, but the issue with that is that people will hear warnings and they'll think, wow, you're so quirk-chungus. Ah-ha-ha-ha. I also have mental illness in my bio. Ah-ha-ha-ha. And then when they're faced with proper mental illness, they, are surprised and they're hurt. And then they hurt you. And then they, leave behind big wounds and scars. Never worth the trade-off. I don't like the idea of hurting someone. The only time I would ever approach the idea of something like, let's say, a relationship, which I'm not gonna lie is something that I've wanted kind of my whole life, but I've purposely denied myself every single time. The only standard really I have, like, I don't have like a height, a body weight, a visual, a job, a money, or whatever. I don't have those as my standard. My standard is the person has met me in real life, so they know exactly how I look already. And they already know enough about me, and they've experienced me in a bad state of mind, so that they have been sufficiently warned of what they're getting into.
My mental illness is stronger than yours.
You wanna bet we'll go Olympic with this bitch? Not even a hair color preference? No. When you are a bad person, you do not deserve to have very shallow preferences. Your preferences should be based upon what you deserve and what
Have you ever
people
think that
deserve.
you don't have BPD, but you are just a little tsundere?
Oh my god. Little tsundere. What the fuck is COP? What currency is that? And why did you donate 10,000 of it? That's a scary ass number. Band for band, tart for
And
tart.
I can think of a few people that meet that standard.
A few people who meet that standard. If we're going Olympic level mental illness, let me get my popcorn. Yeah. Colombian peso. Interesting! I love that. 10,000 COP is $3. That's $3? That's... Man! I love math. I was literally looking at the Korean won earlier because I was getting a little something off of Crepe, like some artwork. And, like, 10K is $10 there. Like,
the more you distrust people, the more likely someone you come to trust would be a person who knows how to gain trust, then betray.
You should write a novel. That was very insightful. Holy Midas, stream after I get off work. It's a broadcast, Sky, and also it's Wednesday. I don't know what you were expecting on a Wednesday, okay? 10,000 cops are coming, let's go. Try Vietnamese dong. I refuse to try Vietnamese dong, excuse you. Does this Vietnamese gentleman have my best interest in mind?
It's creators like you that I've actually come to be more appreciative of and confident in myself, rather than hinging on my friends for comfort and happiness. Truly appreciative of you for that, too.
Hey. Nemu Kobayashi. I'm glad.
Imagine being betrayed by friends of 17 plus years.
No, I don't have to imagine, you know? So, I'm not, like, picky, but I'm selective. So, one day, I really hope that, you know, somebody allows themselves into my life with full knowledge of what they're getting into and is okay with that and is okay with me. I would like nothing else more than to, you know, turn into one of those MILF tubers. I can graduate from being absurd big sister Midas and become a momdus of my own, you know? That would be really neat. But nobody should expect life to happen to them. If you want something good in life, you have to work to earn it and deserve it. If I ever want to see myself as worthy of having somebody else in my life, romantically or otherwise, I need to make myself someone that would be interesting for that kind of person.
Men. They have multiple dongs.
I'm jealous of Vietnamese men, they have multiple dongs. DZVW, that is wretched. What is the difference between a MILF tuber and a standard pattern hag? A MILF tuber has a kid, and hag is just old. Yeah? If I one day got to get married and got to have kids, I don't know, Peanut Penguin kind of has it all figured out, you know? She's married and she has a kid and she's streaming and sometimes her kid pops up with a little avatar. Or that purple VTuber in Japan whose kid does stage performances with her. Wouldn't that be fun? But don't forget Cha-Cha. There's also Cha-Cha. The only downside is if I ever got into a relationship, you guys would all call me a whore!
I used to write the background plots for real-time horror role-playing. That requires you to be witty or creepy or both off the cuff in real time.
Sounds like you're turning around about kids. It'd have to be like an adopted kid or somebody with powerful enough genetics to combat my retardation. Quite genuinely. Midas the first one is free, don't worry. That's crazy! Man. Sucks being a 27-year-old virgin. Only hoes get into relationships. What's your thoughts on schizotypical personality disorder? That's my diagnosis. My thoughts on schizotypical. If you are actively working every day to be functional the best way that you can, non-disruptive to both yourself and the people around you, and understanding that while you are a victim of your own circumstance, you should not, you know, it is your responsibility to not victimize others, then you have my immense respect. And I hope nothing but the best for you.
No, you must preserve the window licker genes.
Are you a whore, though, or are you jealous of others being able to whore? I'm gonna be so honest. If I was a solid 10, that would be a fascinating life path to experience. However, flesh is temporary. The mind is eternal until you get, like, Alzheimer's, you know? Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary, so why would I waste my life chasing carnal pleasure when I could be writing a novel, a really shitty novel, or when I could be drawing, or when I could be creating something that can be left behind? I think I've joked about if I had the opportunity to be a whore, I would do it, but honest to God, if I was given a free pass to go to the VTuber orgy, I would not think twice walking away. Not only is that a hotbed for potential disease, but that's just not the kind of person I am, you know? You can say all sorts of things till your face turns blue as a joke, but when it comes down to it, I don't think I would ever be able to physically be able to get into a sexual situation unless it was with someone I liked. Like, I don't think that I'm physically capable of that. Why would you go to an orgy of any kind? I wouldn't go to one, but at Offkai there is a VTuber orgy and you kind of get invited to it, you know? It doesn't mean you have to accept the invitation.
If you pushed away someone that genuinely care for you out of fear, would you forgive yourself? Knowing both sides? Asking cause I am in that situation.
I'll reread that again, just so that I can think about it for a second.
Midas, future member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, I craved the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine.
Oh, we are playing Helldivers tomorrow. Anyway, stop! I need to answer this question! Simon. If you pushed away someone that genuinely cared for you out of fear, would you forgive yourself? Knowing both sides. Asking because I'm in that situation. I have pushed people out of my life. I have done the same thing. I have pushed people out of my life out of love for them and out of fear. And it's hard. Because if they genuinely care about you, then they're also hurt, no matter what. And the older I get, the more I have to think about, well, was this person physically, mentally, emotionally capable of handling me? If so, then I cruelly pushed them away for nothing. Were they unable or incapable of handling me? Then the responsible thing to do was to push them away. However, then you're faced with clouded judgment of like, well, how do you quantify who can and cannot handle you? You can only really learn that once somebody reaches their breaking point and they can no longer handle you. So is there a right answer? I'm not entirely sure, but what I would advise you, Simon Guerrero 6158, is to imagine the kindest version of the person you love. Okay? The person you care about, realistically, when faced with a bad situation, the worst situation even, in your mind's eye, how would they actually react? Not like your doomer worst case scenario. Very realistically, how would they react? And you know that they care about you. Use that to guide their decision. And think kindly of the people you care about. If you think that the person you care about and that you love would say the most horrible, horrific things about you, then you're not thinking kindly about the person you love. You're not giving them the deference that they may or may not deserve. Because chances are, if this person is like a close family member who really loves you, or is a significant other that loves you, or whatever, they may think a lot more charitably about you. And so by building up a boogeyman in your brain, you're creating a version of them in your mind that may not exist. You're creating an evil version of them, and they might not actually deserve that. And that is actually a little cruel to do. And I've had to learn that the hard way. That not every person that I'm terrified of is genuinely a villain. So, act in your best interest, but realize that sacrifice isn't always kindness. And the kindest thing you can do is to slow down and to be super introspective and to make every decision super intentionally. Like ridiculous levels, like psychotic levels of intentionally. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes you can think that deeply and you still need to push them away. That's actually a good thing. If you go through all of those layers and steps and you think you need for their safety and happiness and your safety and happiness and you push them away, if you went through the steps, then you did the responsible thing. Why
The
did
flesh is temporary, but beauty in purity is eternal. Sometimes you are too hard on yourself. May God be with you, Midas.
Do you know that goodbye is actually a combination of God be with you? I learned that as a teenager, and I always thought that was interesting. Goodbye means God be with you. I wish I could be that introspective, but I'm impulsive and emotionally driven. I'm impulsive and emotionally driven. That's literally a core tenet of BPD. That is why a lot of times I physically remove myself from the room. I know I'm impulsive, I know I have tendencies, and I know that the moment I go just a little bit too far, I can no longer physically control myself.
Well, I am the one that was pushed away, but I think have an answer. I can forgive, 'cause I want to see the good on others. Thank you, Midas, deeply.
I wish for good things for you, Simon. I know good things can happen. But no, remember this. If you take anything away from this stream, it's that nobody deserves anything in this life. It doesn't matter how hard they work. You only get what you earn and you push and you pull and you grab for with your own two hands. And sometimes people will fight to take it away from you, even if you've worked your whole life for it. Nothing will be granted to you because you've earned it. Even after you've taken it as you feel as if you deserve, people will always try to take it from you. Happiness is one of those things. Peace and security are some of those things. It is not a human right to be happy, to be safe, to be secure. Those are things that only you can grab through sheer force of will. You have to learn an intensity that may not be natural. So do your best. Because fuck, man, if I can do it, the most mentally ill of all of you can do it. Genuinely. Did stream drop? I'm getting a lot of really weird delayed responses. Oh, I've lost like half my chat. What happened? Oh, okay, there we go. We're back. Wait, you BPD? Have? Yes, have. Do you do VTuber consultations? Kind of a bit late in the US. Might be a part of it. Right now for me, it's might be oh, it's pretty late. Might be corny, but I've never agreed with anything more in my life. The moment that you feel like you cannot control your destiny is the moment that you've lost. Not because you've lost control of your destiny, but because you've lost the plot. You only have your own destiny to control. That is the one thing every person has. It doesn't matter the situation. You could be born a slave in a tribe. You could be abused. You could be in the worst situations. You could be in a totally unredeemable, impossible situation. But you, as a person, still choose everything that you do when you wake up the next day. Now, is it choosing to follow the orders so that you don't get beat? Or is it a choice to sneak something to someone? Or is it a choice to quietly read a book somewhere? Or that is your agency as a human.
It's also important to remember that when we are in the depths of illnesses and conditions, that what we use to make our decisions is itself ill. Careful introspection is a critical skill to learn.
Xenon gets it. See you around, Midas. Be safe out there, Yui Shinigami. The mad scientist in me wants to know what abomination would occur if the combined genetics of Midas and myself. It would be truly fucked up. That's crazy. You a therapist? You the rapist? I'm not the rapist. I'm not the rapist. What's wrong with you? I'll have you know I'm a teetotaler on sex. What if I was reincarnated as Lyros' gay P90? I'm fucked. Lyros is too busy fucking floor tiles, okay? Lyros won't touch you. Do not redeem agency. Do not. Teetotaler. Hello, chat. Hello. He does what? Oh, you guys don't know? You guys don't know the arcane lore of Lyros fucking floor tiles? I guess you have to join the Duder Den Discord to be able to have access to that information. By the way, haha, Lyros sits in VC almost every night, and he just lays there naked. He lays there naked, skronking the floor tiles. What a degenerate pervert. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? You know what we call this in the industry, lads? We call this, I like to spread misinformation.
No matter how bad everything is, there is always something to help yourself.
The Gigantosaurus. This is the knowledge that was meant to be lost. S-Men, it's true. It is true! I walked into VC yesterday and I was traumatized. I was listening to the sound of squeaking floor tiles.
Remember, howsoever you are played, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone. Even though those who presume to play you be kings or men of power. Excerpt from Kingdom of Heaven.
Hell yeah.
Would you rather have fingers for toes or toes for fingers?
I'm going to fucking kill you. How dare you ask me something so stupid? Would you rather have fingers for toes or toes for fingers? What's wrong with you? The answer is no.
There have been times that I've taken very good care of someone who had a bad cold or flu because I wanted to try it. The cold or flu.
Hold on. Sorry. What, Gideon? What do you mean you wanted to try it? Just like for funsies? I mean, to be fair, that's how people built up immune systems historically. I shouldn't be such a judgmental bitch. You have fun playing, doctor. I needed to hear that about Destiny, Midas. I've been feeling stuck in my life, been thinking about my own mortality ever since my dog passed in December. Oh, Gary. Well, hey. You're here. You actively made a choice to click this stream, even if it doesn't feel like an active and more of like a motor. Your hand was drawn to the screen, shaking like an addict. No. Every step moving forward is your step. Doesn't matter who's influencing it. Ultimately, no one is guiding your hand but yourself. And, you know, your dog passing in December. You chose to have the dog in the first place. You chose to keep the dog. You chose to love the dog. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. Choosing the responsibility. And now it's time to choose what's next. And you're more than capable of it. And I think you'll do well. Anyway, anyone want to kidnap a Venezuelan dictator with me? I mean, I've seen your Postal 2 clips, and well, you bought me like a box of Jellos. I'm not gonna lie. I was half considering pulling up Hatred on stream today. Broadcast. I love my job. I love my place of employment, but it's given me some nasty habits. I keep reaching for toggles that aren't there, and I keep trying to say stream instead of broadcast. It's ruined me! No, it's not quite. I love where I work. I love it to the moon and back. They treat me so well. They do so much all the time. There's so many talented people. Management's constantly checking in. I don't know. It's everything I dreamed, you know? And my dreams were unreasonable in that instance, because they kind of have to be if you're an insane enough person to be a VTuber. Took 2 hours to remember it's a broadcast. Shut the fuck up, KMA. Used to know one of the guy who works on Hatred. He's an ass. That's crazy! Well, maybe the game will be better than he is. Use that noggin of yours to compartmentalize. Create the mind palace and swap personalities. Oh no, I absolutely do. It's just you lose a word or two in the process. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, boys. I was so close to not making it. I had things going in my life that I didn't realize and I didn't appreciate. They were small things, but I've learned to appreciate them. And things have grown. And it took 26
One of my other
years.
names is the Doctor who practices in ways both hideous and resplendent. Or just Doc Morbid for short.
We're all gonna make it. Okay? One of my other names is Doctor who practices in both ways hideous and... Gideon, what are you talking about? Doc Morbid. You know, that sounds like a weird rapper name. Doctor Who? Yeah, like who? I'm gonna be so real. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch Doctor Who. It was one of those things where it's just like, you're not allowed to watch Big Bang Theory, you're not allowed to watch Doctor Who. It's like, oh, is it for religious reasons? Is it for religious reasons? No, because those shows fucking suck! We don't want you brainwashed by garbage! Watch quality things! Like Blackadder! And the original Muppets! Blackadder is actually pretty base. It was pretty fun. Recently, I've started watching some Doctor Who. I watched some Doctor Who with a good buddy of mine. And it's alright. It's really, I actually quite enjoy it. But I do agree that giving Doctor Who to an annoying teenager in their most annoying teenager phase is like giving heroin to an addict. You don't do that. You don't make an irritating teenager more irritating. I'd say me being an anime fan was bad enough. I can't imagine being a Doctor Who fan during the peak of my Homestuck phase. Should thank your mom for ensuring we have the same references. I should thank her properly. Yeah. Well, it's not just my mother. My father has always been very present in my life, which is one of those things I always took for granted. But as I get older, I really appreciate. I especially appreciate it now that they're getting older, you know? My parents, they're getting close to, like, their 70s, you know? Life ticks on. And not everyone is as fortunate as I am. And I will be the very first to say that I am very, very fortunate to not come from a broken family. And that both my parents were present and very active in my life. They were not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but they cared. And that is so much more than any of my peers. So I gotta I always humbly appreciate that. And, you know, even if they had not been my parents, like they'd been separated or whatever, them as individuals, they've been so vital and integral in forming me into who I am. Now, if Sissy would just calm the fuck down for 5 minutes, we'd live in paradise! Make sure you enjoy them while you can. My mom died in her 40s. Make sure you see them while you can. I currently live in my parents' house. And so I see them very often, very frequently, and I help them with a lot of things. I actually was a living caretaker for my grandmother for a while. My parents have already long outlived their expected life, you know, expectancies. So I'm glad that I've made these revelations in my life in my 20s and not later, because I can't imagine the regret I would feel losing them before understanding their worth. And I'm not gonna, like, you know, split hairs. I know that there's some people that have horrible parents. I know that some people cannot forgive their parents for horrible things that they've done. They raised them in subpar ways. They abused them. I did not have that. I did not have that. So that is the one privilege, well, aside from being born female. Being born female has granted me insane levels of social privilege that I cannot even begin to unpack in Canada. But I would say even if you didn't have 2 parents, you had 4 parents, you had a broken home, you had a stitched together home, you had something in between, or you had nothing, you were bounced around the system. Regardless of what lessons you learned, who taught you what, the people that did eventually teach you are very valuable. You should be respected. And hopefully, you can be a better version of them one day.
Failing to make it is lame. Good tattoo made it.
No one is gonna love you like your folks? Well, yeah, but let's not fail to recognize that some people just don't have a regular set of folks. They got their own set of regular. Folks is where the home is. And ultimately, the strongest family is the family that you choose. And I chose my birth family because they treated me very well and they gave me good lessons. But some people choose to leave their birth family because they were heinously inappropriate. And they grow their own family units, and that is the family they choose. I can't respect everyone's life decisions at all times because that's unreasonable and stupid. I would never do that because there are some very questionable people out there that do horrible, shitty things. But I can't disrespect where someone came from. I can only disrespect what they decide to do with it. Been a watcher on and off, just chiming in while at work. If people think like you, perhaps there's hope. Most people don't want to grow out of suffering because it comes out of a lifestyle they inflict. Up until like I was 25, I was in a self-fulfilling prophecy in a perpetual hamster wheel of misery. Quite genuinely. It was a mindset I was locked into. I can't really explain it because I don't really understand it myself because it wasn't reasonable. At that point, I'd learned to hide it pretty well, but only the last 2 years since becoming Midas have I become the person I am. Hi, Midas. Just came by to say hi. Tell you you're cute. Have a good stream. Have a good night day. Hey, Curse James. You have a good one. Need to get some sleep for work. Have fun, guys. Have a good one, Dual Wielder. Best response to someone trauma dumping on you is LMAO. You gotta be very careful when somebody is vulnerable enough to trauma dump on you. Here's the thing. I somehow have become people's impromptu therapist. A lot of people. A lot of people. Some that I barely even know, daily, flood my DMs with their problems, with wanting help for something. I try my best to give it, but I always try to preface it with, I don't know for sure, this is just my uninformed opinion. I am very weak to trauma dumping, because I feel very bad for people all the time. I almost feel guilty, even though I wasn't related in the slightest, because this person suddenly trusted me, right? And it's like, well, damn, now I have a responsibility to not make them kill themselves. It gets very overwhelming, especially when I have other things to do. Might have learned well from all those appointments as a kid. Nah! Nah, I fucking destroyed that bitch! Mrs. Pitts. Mrs. Pitts! Ah, may you burn in hell. Ah. No, as a tiny kid, the only thing she did was give me clarity about my own mortality by helping me realize that one day I was going to die. Fucking bitch. She traumatized me. And so you know what I did? She had a prized marionette that she used to, like, you know, parade around and entertain kids that were having meltdowns. When she went to get a phone call one of the days, I took, like, the craft scissors and I snipped all of, like, the strings and I tied them into big bird's nest knots. That was probably like a $300 marionette. Or more. Like, it was probably priceless. But fuck, I hated her, and I don't regret it. That's one memory I look back on. One bad thing I did, and I don't regret a second of it, because she was gross. I hate her. She was a puppet master for real. Oh, she didn't give a shit about the kids that she was quote-unquote helping. She used it as a free paycheck. She would, like, pop a coloring page in front of us, say, hey, are you being beat at home? No? Okay. And draw a diagram of your life, and then she'd fuck off to go to, like, call on, like, the landline with her buddies. With her gal pals. You had a Homestuck phase? Yeah. Yeah. It's perpetual. It comes and goes in waves. I'm a John Egbert stan. I don't know if you could tell.
Use your aggressive feelings, girl. Let the hate flow through you.
Oh, I let the hate flow through me. Like, you guys may think that I'm acting mature, that I've got it all together. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I have such vitriol.
I sympathize. I seem to give off walking confessional vibes to people. More than a few nights out have ended up with strangers spilling their sins.
You should be a bartender. Bartenders do that. Who would think you're mature? Dinomatic, why don't you kill yourself right now? Do a flip. Make my day. What's immature about hatred? How I feel about it. Now, you guys don't see it on stream, but when I'm very emotionally charged, I have one or two people.
Hi Midas. Just got back from night shift, so I'm EP. Have a good stream.
Hey, Sally. Thank you for popping in, and I hope you have a very good rest. We've had a very introspective stream today, surprisingly. Didn't you say your room is very messy? Oh my fucking god, it is so messy. Kind of mature in the moment, though. Oh, right now I am. The reason why I personally think that it'll be very hard to retain any kind of long-term relationship is because in doses, I am very good at handling myself. But if I'm upset, if I'm emotionally charged, I do become a very different person. You guys have seen, like, freakouts and, like, spastic reactions where I'm upset or genuinely, like, surprised by something. But you have never seen me genuinely angry. And I'd like to keep it that way. because I do become a very damaging kind of person. And so I keep that kind of shit to myself, or to the one or two people that just so happen to accidentally be in my blast radius. As a kid, did you know that I would put holes through walls? There was a Christmas one year where we had a folding chair, and I put that shit straight clean through a wall. That was fun. And by fun, I mean I got in trouble. Yeah. By the way, have you been sleeping better at all lately? Yes and no. I'm perpetually very ill. I have like a lung infection that's been perpetual for months at this point, and it comes and goes in waves. It affects my breathing, and it also affects my sleep. So sometimes I won't be able to sleep at all, and sometimes I'll sleep for 12 hours. Because I'm so exhausted from not having slept for a week beforehand, right? Just like, it's weird. Thorough the studs. Thorough the stud. What does that even mean? You have access to a punching bag squeezer or grip strengtheners. Great for stress relief. Used to have a punching bag. You still have that? Didn't you catch that way back in May? This is a different one. This is the second one.
Clean your room. You can smell it from outside.
You didn't get the present you wanted, huh? No. It was more like, I think that particular experience was me being barked at like a Christmas dinner. Or maybe I was being told to decorate and I didn't want to. And I was just being oppositional and defiant. I've never been a present kind of person. Like, wow, what a surprise, you have a throne? Even then, it's always very scary to add things to my throne. Sounds like the effects of long COVID. Xenon, maybe. I actually genuinely think it could be. I had a thought. It's gone now. I don't remember what I was talking about. Wait, long COVID is real? This is a conversation I would love to go into, but I genuinely think it would be way more entertaining with my mother on the line. Unironically, I'm saving all the COVID conversations and all of the organ harvesting conversations for when my mother is here, because she is so animated and excited and angry. You'll get a taste of my anger through my mother. But yeah, end of January, hopefully. If I can't get a rigger, I'm gonna have to scrape my savings. But I will get her here. I showed you guys the... Hold on. Where's the picture of my mother that I literally just dragged on here? Oh, I suddenly don't feel very good. Here. Like, I'm working on the model. It's not done. It's gonna be like half body, because that's what I can do. The rig is gonna be difficult and interesting, because I haven't rigged in a while. And it will be jank. If I can afford a budget rigger, that might be my best option. Yeah. Mom just banned from Discord day one. Mom just never gets to enter the Discord! Start crowdfunding things so we can chip in an extra buck or two. No. No. That's no. I try not to crowdfund unless I really, really, really think it's necessary. Like, I'm not rich. I am not rich. My savings are dismal. But I want you to understand how gross it feels to crowdfund. I do not want to crowdfund until I have all my previous incentives done, because I still have some incentives I need to finish. Until then, I cannot justify crowdfunding anything. And even then, when I crowdfund, it's like, it feels like a shame, you know? it feels like you've failed and you're relying on the charity of others, even though that's not the case, you know, because people donate for various reasons, some because they feel bad, but some because they want to see something down the line. I know that objectively, but it's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. So as long as possible, I try not to crowdfund, because that's just not who I am as a person. Oh well, good night, and I'm subbed. Hey, Glass, have a good one. Yeah, you definitely grew up poor. Ha! Understand, it feels like putting the cart before the horse. Fuck, man. Like, the boob and butt mouse pads. I'm still drawing those, right? Like, I should have had them out months ago. They should have been merch by now, right? Which is a strange thing to say out loud, but, like, that was, like, one of the incentives. The files are right there. I'm literally looking at them open on my Clip Studio right now. No. I live in a constant state of financial guilt that may or may not be deserved, right? And I am very responsible with my finances. I don't, like, over-the-top binge. I don't spend. I hate luxury goods because luxury goods are obscene. Why get a luxury good when you could get a dupe that's the same quality just without the logo? Like, Novelty items are good, but not in excess. And necessities always come first. So it always feels like such a privilege and a humbling experience. Like, fuck, even a single dollar dono or contributing to anything by a couple pennies feels so much more than I'm worth. And so I want to do my best to make sure that I live up to the expectations set by every person in chat, every person that watches a VOD, every person that watches a video, every person that looks at anybody I care about, any person that watches a Syndicate even, you know, just... Nobody prepares you for the mental load content creation gives. Like, physical, it's like, yeah, no, it's not physical at all. Like, it's not a physical labor thing. But you have to use so much more brain processing power than you
can get rid of chest colds and COVID by breathing heat vaporized 2% acidity vinegar. The lower pH in the lungs is not survivable for microbes.
Interesting. I'll clip that part of the VOD and I'll run it past my mother.
Go for the large flat mouse pad that's just the bike pump schematic.
Oh, that's mad funny. I love that. No, I do literally have sketches for, like, boob and ass mitis. Like, it's on Twitter. You can even see it. But, like, I'm not a whore, but I'll absolutely give the people what they want because they've paid for it. Midas, with that money mentality, you're hypothetical. If I were a 10, I'd try out how it is to be a lady of the night. Wouldn't go well. Outside of Victorian England, maybe. Maybe. Also take magnesium supplements. Tablets not extended. I've heard that magnesium is incredible for your skin. Like, genuinely, I am considering finding some magnesium supplements because I have very, very bad, like, generational bad acne. All up my back. Very, very painful. Very painful. Where did the puppet snip thing come from? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. You mean me snipping the strings off the therapist's puppet because I hated her? It came purely out of spite.
Hot take, Homestuck was great until the trolls started taking the center stage.
Interesting hot take. I know a lot of people say that the trolls is when Homestuck started to get good. But I actually am closer to agreeing with you, because the humans were my favorite part about Homestuck, and I didn't really care about the trolls except for Carcat. I had no idea acne could be felt. Holy fuck! When you have bad, deep cystic acne, it can go literally all through the layers of, like, every layer of skin, and it builds up pressure, and it is viscerally painful. I am an adult with adult acne, and it is not fun. It is not fun. I feel nothing but sympathy for anybody with acne because I know how painful it is. Accutane cured me. Accutane made my bones weaker. Like, it made my teeth weaker, and it probably contributed to, like, the lack of teeth health, my bone density. Just, it caused a lot of damage. Accutane did nothing. It just made my bones bad. Have you visited a skin doctor? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. No, as a teenager, I did my best to solve this problem, and now I'm an adult, and I still haven't figured it out. I shower daily, not like using acid scrubs or whatever, because if you peel the top layer of your skin off, you're just going to constantly reinfect yourself. But I use the microbial soaps. I eat pretty cleanly. I've cut all bread out of my diet. Again, although over Christmas I kind of had bread again. I'm not celiac, but cutting bread out seems to help a little bit. I'm lactose intolerant, so when I cut out dairy entirely, that helps a little bit. But even after I, like, make my diet very boring and early caveman, yeah, I still have acne. Hello, Yapper. Microbiome? Yeah, kinda. I'm not entirely sure, LMG. Welcome, Raiders. More Raiders! Thank you, Corm. Johnberg, welcome on in! I'm just bitching and moaning. Do you know why? Because this is my woman moment. This is a very rare Midas woman moment. You see, I don't have these often because I'm an evolved being. I could never have a woman moment. But you know what? When it comes to my acne, I'm gonna bitch! Because the economy? Nah, I already complained about that earlier. Try the monthly woman moment? No. That happens near the end of the month for me. No, this is a regular female moment. She's gonna blow! Gender! I love the Canadian housing market, yeah. Meant the location. Sounds like a therapist program and not a school. Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, it was in the school. They just took me to a secluded room with their phone-in therapist. Okay, I'm gonna go get food. Goodbye. Have a good one. John Borg. How can Midas have a woman moment when she's a 40-year-old man? Oh, man, you've cracked the code. Like all other VTubers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Silly Midas, you can't have a woman moment. Women aren't real! That's true. There's no such thing as woman. Wait, you're lactose intolerant? Yes. Wait, Midas is a 40-year-old man. I'm suddenly feeling away. Auntie Haunty, behave. So Sisyphus is more or less you with less self-control and maturity. Yeah. Hi, Miss Midas. Gavinsky! It's wonderful seeing you in here today. Hi. Hello. Hi. How you doing, Gavinsky? You can fix lactose intolerance by I'm tired. No, we're doing good. We're doing good, gang. We get one chat a week. We have to make it count! Mom, probation officer, the lady from the bakery, the only woman that exists IRL. Lamo. Unbelievable. Hi, Tired. I'm Vinyl. Hi, Vinyl. Also, how's Crowbar? Has he lost the weight? No, he's still fat. He's still fat. But he's well loved and cuddled. Wonderful to see you as well. I'm doing alright. Hope you're doing alright too. Wide cast over. GG. Damn, Sky, that's crazy. Lady like Midas is so cursed. What do you mean cursed? What do you mean cursed? What? I can't have a little bit of positive whimsy as a treat? Fuck you, bozo. I get a little as a treat. Look, I'm busy being an evolved being all the time. I get to have a little bit of whimsy as a treat. Alright? Infinity Nikki is broken to fuck, so I have no outlet. Hey, Midas, why are you saying fuck me? I just got here. Mods, rip out this man's spine. He doesn't deserve rights. Alright. Yeah, that's right. Whimsy did get banned after Christmas. You're not allowed to have any whimsy after Christmas. You know what? You're right. No whimsy allowed. Just for that, we are shutting down all whimsy. This whimsy run has run its course. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do to kill that whimsy? That's right. That's right. We're gonna redirect stream. Oh, I just killed a woman earlier today. That was kind of interesting. That was pretty interesting. Anyway, all whimsy is dead. Life is misery. It all sucks. Smoke weed, get bitch. Actually, don't smoke weed. Don't smoke anything. Just get bitches. Get bitches. Goodbye, YouTube.